So you've done a lot on Monica Chardy, and I got something that I'll show as well. She was supposed to be let out of jail. She had spent 180 days. They didn't charge her. They waited until well after 180 days. Now they've charged her. Is she free at home, or where's she at right now?
No, she's still in the Essex County Jail. We're on yesterday looking for, to see what was happening in the court appearance, and she's in front of the Essex judge Sheila Venable, who is the assignment judge. That's the top judge in all of Essex County, which is the seat of Newark, New Jersey. And that judge has all the power to do all that she would want in civil and criminal cases. And basically, she deferred the criminal portion to Judge Mark Ali, and Judge Mark Ali is the criminal term head. And so Judge Venable had a beautiful, situation here. She was very transparent and she was very open, and she had a Zoom hearing, and then she turned it into a full live stream for the court, and it was able to be basically commented on by legal commentators like myself, because it was an open and transparent process. The fact of the matter is Judge Ali did not do that. Judge Ali went afterwards, and we found out that Monica was taken and she was denied bond and denied bail. And to add insult to injury, she needs to show why she should have public defenders at this point. And so she's sitting in jail with no public defender, or with public defenders, so you should know she's going to have. And we can't find the indictment. So we don't know exactly why she's there and being held past 180 days. There are questions because that guy, Stuart Minkowitz, is the judge in Morris County, and he's the assignment judge. He's the most powerful judge in Morris. He's in charge of all criminal and civil matters, and he signed a conflict order on January 7th. And that conflict order says it's got to go to Essex because there's a conflict. So if something has to go to Essex for a conflict, it's conflicted the entire way. And it means that the prosecution itself, or at least they would have to come and say why it should have continued in Morris County if the assignment judge of the entire county said that there was a conflict in Morris County. Why it shouldn't go to the Essex prosecutor's office. Now, the prosecutor, Jessica Marshall, the assistant county prosecutor, we tried to reach her, and we tried to reach out to the public defenders. Evidently, we published it already, that the public defenders were misrepresented to by Jessica Marshall, that Essex County took action on the case after the January 7th transfer order, after and within the time period, the 180 days from Monica's arrest. And so we're trying to figure out what the arrest was. And so there are a lot of theories, because we don't know why she was actually arrested, because we don't have the indictment. But there are a couple of things that she could get charged with. One is when she did the Facebook posts, and we talked about this before. She made Facebook posts where she quoted the judge's transcript, and the judge said, "If you don't do what I say, you'll never see your children again." And when she gets onto Facebook, and she types that in, Judge what was his name? Bogard, Judge Bogard. If you don't do what I say, you'll never see your children again. Well, Judge Bogard took that as a terroristic threat against him and his children.
Let me interrupt you. The reason he took a terroristic threat is because she didn't put quotation marks, even though he knew he said it. So this is over quotation marks. This seems awfully similar to what Paul Boyne is going through. We got a couple of family court players who are being charged with saying mean things online, and they're being held for a long time. Monica, 180 days. Paul was in jail for over 18 months. There's no way he's going to get 18 months in jail, even if he's convicted. So I don't know why they're going through this, but it seems like they don't like family court victims speaking out. They, meaning the judges.
It's a problem. So what we have here is either A, when she got out of there, in order to get out of jail the first time, she signed a consent order that she wouldn't harass anybody, wouldn't do a whole bunch of stuff. Probably unconstitutional. Try and get a copy of that order. I haven't been able to get a copy of that either. It's just crazy trying to get documents from these people. But that order, I think the claim could be that she violated that order, which is an unconstitutional order. Second, there's an issue with respect to the John Ioannis and Melanie Hempsey. John Ioannis is the ex-husband, and Melanie Hempsey is the new wife. And there's all allegations against them, and there's litigation that's ongoing. And we believe that there could have been an order of protection violation that they might have picked her up for as well. And there's all sorts of other things that could be out there. We just don't know. And how can you hold this woman and have not, under Jersey law, 180 days indicted her? I think she needs to they need to produce this indictment. They need to become transparent. If Judge Ali would have been transparent yesterday, then we would have all the answers to our questions. We would know why Monica's being held, if she's a family court hostage or not, whether there are reasons why they're treating her this way. So, and then you have something here. What do we got?
This is a letter that's been produced that people are hoping to reproduce, but I wanted to just quickly go through some of the bullet points. This letter says she's being held in solitary confinement. Is that the information you're getting?
She's in her cell. I think she's let out, but I don't know if it's solitary or not. But she was for a time, because they said she had suicidal ideations, or she was having a reaction to medication that they're plying her with, that she was out of control, and they put her in a isolated cell, and they took all of her clothes, so she was in an isolated cell naked. And totally, with the lights on the whole time, totally like probably the worst situation you could be in, until they could see that she was, on a psychiatric hold, basically. So they had her in that situation in solitary. I believe she's out of it. We saw her come in to the courtroom yesterday. We saw her coming, and she was a little bit out of it in the video. I'm not going to lie. She didn't look totally with it, but it didn't look like she was had come directly from a psychiatric unit at that point, or from that situation. But you never know. But I think now she's in general population. She has a tablet now, I believe. Finally, that she has a tablet. She was complaining while she was on the live stream about the guards revealing her personal information to the entire cell block, and she was having a hard time with things there. She said this on the act in open court in front of Judge Venable. But I don't believe she's still. I know she was. I don't believe she's still in solitary.
And they're saying that she's not getting the proper medication and also being drugged up with improper medication like Risperdal. Is that your information?
Yeah, she was given information. Oh, she was given medication she was never given on the street. So there was no history of her having this medication before, and yet they're plying her with medication. And so they come in, they send in their people, and they say, oh, we have to give her this, and this. And it's a common strategy. They try to drug everybody up when they go to jail. They tried to do it to me. They do it to everybody. They ply you with everything. And then there's a problem if you don't take it. You have to try to have a right to refuse that stuff, but then they mark it all down if you don't, and then there becomes all sorts of issues. It's a really crazy system how they try to incapacitate you so you don't fight them.
Is this correct? The jail falsely documented that Monica has bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder without any prior medical history or external verification.
That's what I'm hearing, that there was a determination made, medical determination, but there's no historical basis for it. I believe that her people had submitted prior medical documentation to the jail as well. So they could have looked at the records and have seen no prior issues. And the fact is, the question, who's making these determinations? Is this a psychiatrist? Is this a psychologist? Is this that? Nurse practitioner? You don't know who's making these determinations. There's no transparency. It could be somebody in corrections who has a glorified, a bachelor's degree in psychology. Took some medical training, and they say, okay, poof, you can diagnose people. Or they're the one who actually talked to Monica or the other patients, and you have some psychiatrist in an office someplace that signs off. You don't know the process that's being done, and that's the problem with transparency, especially in corrections. You don't get those documents. They're not part of things, and they're protected agency documents most of the time, and protected HIPAA documents. So unless you get them from the actual prisoner or the prisoner's people, you're not going to get them from the court. So you don't know what their processes are. It's really a scary situation. This poor woman is in a scary situation.
In Paul's case, they tried to say that he was beat up and this caused a concussion, which led to him being incompetent. So another similar situation, one more similar situation, failure of public defenders. Are her public defenders selling her down the river the way Paul believes his public defenders are?
Yeah, if they would have acted, I blame it more on the Morris County Prosecutor's Office. If there was a January 7th transfer conflict order, what were they doing with the case still? Or they should have made it clear what was going on, because you have what's called a pre-indictment hearing that they could file for, and these public defenders never did. And I believe it was because they were assured by the Morris County Public Defender's Office that everything was on the up and up. But it was like trust but not verify. that becomes ineffective assistance of counsel. And when you have a public defender, you don't need to do a lot to make a public defender not want to work. And when you have a prosecutor telling them, "Oh yeah, everything's all good," and lying when they say that becomes a problem for her. So she doesn't have the greatest lawyers. I'm not saying that they're the problem at this point, but they may very well be. I would say, look, a proactive lawyer on this case. You had a top New Jersey criminal defense attorney. She might be out on the street right now. They might have got this whole thing quashed. The other part about it is I'm looking into, and I'm going to be publishing on this soon, but I'm looking into a rather well-known New Jersey politician who's out of office now, who is at the center of all this stuff, who's got connections and tentacles around this Monica Ciari case. And he also hangs up a legal shingle, in Morristown, New Jersey. I'm not going to release the name. When I do, it'll be a little bit of news. But we're going to talk about him because in Morristown, New Jersey, on this Friday, we have a situation where David Weigel, our friend, the family court fraud warrior, is going to be holding a rally/press conference in the front of the Morris County Courthouse with several other speakers and people assembled to talk about the Monica case and to talk about family court fraud and family court hostages and the plight of Monica and the plight of so many other parents that are being punished for the temerity of standing up to a corrupt system. David says the business model of the family courts is fraud. He's a Wall Street, fiduciary and a brilliant guy at Columbia Business School. And he, for a living, looks at business models and looks at valuations and looks at quantitative analysis. And if he says if the family court was a business, then everybody in there would be taken out in cuffs within 24 hours. Any other business, it would be an unsustainable business model, and not just an unsustainable business model, a fraudulent business model. So
this is the business of family court is to get one person appointed, and the person appointed, their job is to get someone else appointed, and that person's job is to get someone else, and you go on and on and on. And that is a corrupt business that is not looking out for the best interest of children or parents or anyone else. It's a billable hours problem. That's what they're solving.